Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. Our co-guest host today is Ajia Holiday, filling in for Liz. She's taking care of some important business today. We've got three guests with us today. We have Erin Lasch, Beth Derickson, and Jonathan Lorbacher, and this is Smart Business Moves. Whew, I'm exhausted.
That was a mouthful.
That was a lot. Tom, you should know my last name by now. It's Derickson. Erickson with a D.
I am so sorry.
I got to bust your chops.
It was the oxygen deprivation. By the time I got to that point, I was sucking wind.
You're good. You're good.
My. So we all here today to be talking about something really awesome. It's going to be happening next week. It's going to be the ISSA convention, trade show. ISSA Residential is going to have a big part of that. And, we're assuming that you already have made your reservations, your hotel room, all of that. If not, it's not too late. But what we really want to do is frame up how to maximize the value you're going to get by attending. It's a big event. There's a lot of moving parts. And if you plan it out ahead of time, you're really going to get maximum value. Before we start, I just want to make sure everybody knows everybody. I mentioned everybody by name, but if we could kind of just go around the room maybe and just share, a little bit about ourselves.
Let me start. My name is Erin Lasch. I am the Education Development Manager at ISSA, but many of you know me because I've worked with the residential community since I started with what was formerly ARCSI and is now ISSA Residential back in 2014. So I have had the privilege of working with this group, and now I'm working with the cleaning industry at large. And I tell you, it's a great place to be. There's so much going on here. But I am also thrilled I still get to work with the residential community, and I have two members of our show committee. And as you mentioned, there's a lot going on at the show for our residential community, and that is in thanks to our residential show committee and the effort they put into identifying the topics, the speakers, everything that we need to be doing. And so I love turning most of this over to Beth and Jonathan to kind of tell you what's going on.
Okay, Erin. So I know that, you've got a lot more responsibility and you're working with all the different verticals that ISSA services. But just be honest, just between us, it's just us. We're your favorite, right?
It's like picking favorites with my children. Yes, every day I have a different one. So yes, I love my residential community. You're my favorites. They will always have a special place in my heart. This residential community, I will tell you, I've worked at associations since I got out of college, like a couple of years ago. And I will tell you, the residential community is tremendous. I've never seen such a community that is just so welcoming to everybody. Even those that you would think are your direct competitors across the street, you're still welcoming. You're lifting them up. Together, we succeed. And it's a great group to work with. So yes, you are my favorites.
Okay. We knew that. We knew that.
We feel the love.
Beth, would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Beth Derickson, and I am the owner of Cornerstone Cleaning here in Maryland. This is our 13th, soon to be our 14th year. Been with ISSA Residential way back before it wasn't ISSA Residential. It's artsy. So that was probably about 8 years. And it's just a great group. Like Erin said, it's very welcoming. It's great networking. And the show is like awesome because you finally get to see everyone that you talk to on video conference or on the phone, and you get to network and meet up with everybody and learn, and your head is going to be like, it's so much to learn. You walk away and you're kind of like, what do I do first? But we're going to give you some tips and tricks to come home and, take all that you've take it into your brain, digest it, and make some action out of it.
It is quite an experience the first time anyone ever goes. It makes a huge impression. And I don't know of anybody who's ever gone that hasn't left being fully impressed and glad they did. Even if you're telling yourself that, gee, I don't know, I've got a lot going on, I really don't know, and I don't want to go even sometimes. But once you're there, you're so glad you are.
I have to tell you a quick story about that. I promise it's quick. So my very first show, I was getting ready to leave my hotel to go catch, the plane and everything. And I kept feeling like I was missing something. And I was like, all right, let me just go back in and check. I shut the door and then I used my key to go back in. I'm like, what the heck's wrong with me? There's nothing in this room. And when I went to shut the door, I looked in there and I was like, you know what? I know what I'm leaving. It's the person that I came here as, because I'm changed now from all that I learned and all the great people that I met. And it really was it was like that. I really changed, and that's what I left back there. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's like a really out of body experience.
Well,
yeah.
I want to thank everybody for being with us today.
It doesn't get any better
That's
than
the
that.
show.
Jonathan, you have your drums.
Yeah.
Jonathan, would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Jonathan Lorbacher. I'm one of the owners of Town and Country Cleaning in North Carolina. I was mentored into this over the last 8 years by Bruce and Sarah Vance, which anybody in this organization should know them. Let's see. I have a huge family and drive a big van. I have 9 kids. I'm still, I guess you could say, a wannabe rock star. I'm actively playing again in a metal band that's releasing a record on Friday. So yeah, I am perpetually busy, and but the ISSA has been huge for me all the way through. From the first time that I came to an ISSA show, which was, I believe, the Dallas show in 2018, it made a huge impression on me. When I started in the cleaning industry, this was going to be a temporary, just kind of, I needed to find my head. And when I went to the convention, it showed me that the cleaning industry was so much bigger than just scrubbing somebody's toilet. And it was one of those things that really stuck with me, that this is a place for people with ideas. This is a place for people who want to grow. And unlike a lot of other industries, the ceiling hasn't been found yet. And so that was exciting to me. That was something that after coming back from the convention, it went from this cleaning thing is just going to be my temporary step to, fix my mental health, to now, this is what I really want to do. And I feel compelled to do. And it was kind of an exciting change for me. So I've come to the shows ever since. I always come away with a lot of great ideas. I come away excited. Usually bring a lot of merch back for the kids. It's a great time, and I've met some amazing friends that I would consider to be close personal friends at this point, and some people that even if I don't get to talk to them as much during the year, it's kind of like a family reunion in a little bit, except without all the weirdness that comes with a family reunion. So it's a great time, and you really can take away a lot, like Beth was saying, that truly changes you. Like I said, for me, it changed the trajectory of my whole life. That's why I'm, now part owner of a cleaning company, is because of this and because of this organization. So, yeah.
So those are 2 pretty strong testimonials, and we were practicing that this is just real, and they're not unique either. I mean, you hear this time and time again from, people within the industry that get together at this convention every year. It's Ajia, you've been going for, you're a rock star now. You're one of the
this is funny, is I've only been twice.
Okay. Well,
so this is the funny part, is that I've been hearing about it for years and years and years and years, and hearing about the impact that people get from convention, that I felt like I had gone. And everybody else has also felt like I've gone for much longer than I've been going, because this is actually only my 3rd time going. But it is I can't add too much more, but I've heard secondhand stories about how impactful convention has been for over the past 10 years, over and over and over again. Like, these are not unique, right? We're hearing the same thing from Beth and from Jonathan that I've heard for the past 10 years from people, that, it's life-changing, especially finding the community, getting to network with people. When you get to repeat your go again, the first time is potentially overwhelming, but also a very out of body, like kind of Beth was talking about. You walked out, you leave a different person, but then you get to go again and you get to see the people, you get to revisit your network connections, and you get to learn more. And it's just kind of this nice, really amazing cycle of education, networkability, and just community all together, everything all at once. And these aren't unique perspectives, which I think is really amazing. Everybody comes away with so much in their pocket, so much education, and so many new connections.
See a couple of people popping up in chat. Denit's here. Denit, give me a thumbs up if I'm going to see you next week. I'm assuming we're going to see you next week. I see one of our favorites on Smart Business Moves, Paul Freed, is here. Paul, are we going to see you next week? Hit us up in chat. Let us know. I certainly hope so. The networking's huge. We're going to talk about, the education and the trade show and how to get the most out of that. And we're going to talk a little bit about networking too, but you can't, I don't know. It's hard to explain the relationship part of this. Erin, you have a little, you put together a deck for us that kind of hits the talking points, because there's so much. Without a little of assistance, we're going to miss stuff, right?
Exactly. I like to make sure we stay on point. Otherwise, we get sidetracked and talk about everything that's happened at the show over the years.
Check it out. Paul Freed will be in the house next week.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Like if you need any other reasons to come, I'll add that to the list.
Paul's profile picture there might be the coolest one I've seen in a while. I wish I was as cool as Paul. I'm not gonna lie.
Jonathan, you keep plugging away at it. One day, maybe,
One of these days, I will attain Paul's coolness, or maybe he'll bless me with some of it in Las Vegas.
It'll rub off.
Okay.
I hope so. I can only be so lucky.
Now I'm going to try and do the slides, and let me see if this works. It did. Yay. Okay. One thing, like I said, I want to make sure we get on point. And I think there's so many reasons that we've talked about why you would go to the show. And we've talked a lot about the first one already is networking. Like you can connect with your community. It is massive. It is a great opportunity to connect with your community. We're going to talk a little bit today about learning. We have, I think, just a top-notch, like high-quality education program. I mean, we get like the rock stars in the industry, and we have so many familiar faces, but we have a lot of new faces. So we're excited to talk about that today. And then I'm going to close with, we talk about discover, and where you can discover a lot is on the show floor. And we have, and I cannot remember the amount of square footage, but we've got a lot for you on the show floor. So we're going to jump into it today. And I know, Tom, you said we're going to talk a little bit about networking. We're going to talk a lot about networking, because I think when you ask anybody, for as great as I think the education program is and impressive as the show floor is, I think the number one reason that the residential community comes back to the show floor time and again, or to the show, is it's connecting with your community.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before, especially from people as they've grown to, when they get to a size where maybe the education is, maybe not everything that they're wanting at that time or something like that, or they've hit a size where they're the smartest, one of the smarter people in the room, something like that. The networking piece is still always helpful. Nobody is ever too big for networking, for finding more people, for finding different people, from learning from those experiences. I think that there's so much to be said from just standing in the hallways, the things that you can learn in the hallways outside of the rooms when there's education happening. You can just hear the snippets of people learning new things from somebody who's not even speaking. So there's so much more than just even the formal networking pieces.
Oh, I agree. I see. And for me, I take pictures a lot when I'm there, and I have pictures of people sitting in little alcoves, like talking and networking. But then I have pictures of people sitting literally right on the floor outside of the classrooms. They just, you know what? They just wanted to connect, so they sat down and started chatting.
Yeah, it's great.
You don't have to always sit on the floor, though. There's like other seats too. Like
there's
the round
lots of locations.
Well, the round tables, though, I will have to say that they are really packed, but there's plenty of room and there's like so much information that you can get out of them. It's unbelievable because you got to figure you're sitting with other business owners, you're having a conversation about really hot topics, and everyone's having like a mastermind at your table, and then you switch over the table. So, I mean, it can be anything from like strategic planning to AI, just thinking out of the box, what systems, what innovations, everything. And there's plenty of room there, but it's definitely packed and you'll get a lot of information out of the round tables.
And I don't know if I can swap this over onto the screen. Yes, you can see it. Hold on. Because you're talking about the round tables, and I just finalized and sent out all the confirmations to our roundtable moderators. So if you can see here, these are the moderators that we have for our roundtables on Monday.
Awesome. That's a good list.
It's a great list. And the show committee worked really hard to get new faces, new information, but like everyone always like loves getting together with people that they've been networking with and hearing what, you know, over the years they've been networking with and hearing what everyone else is doing. So like, if you look at this list, if you had an individual coaching session with some of these people, how much do you think that would cost?
Yeah.
Right? It would be a lot. It's like, wow.
If you could even do it.
Really cool. Like $10,000.
And for those that may not know, like our roundtables, we have education all day on Monday at the show, but the roundtables are at the end of the day. So they're on Monday now, and they're from 4:30 to whenever people leave the room. And usually I go long before the attendees. They just stay in the room and keep talking. But I think this is the heavy lifting. We'll have 3 rounds of 30 minutes on Monday. So you have 3 opportunities to go, you know, you have 3 tables to go to. And we've got a lot of tables there. We got a much bigger room. Last year we had a smaller room, and like we filled this room to capacity and then some. And so I made sure our room is twice the size this year. So we've got plenty of room. We're going to double up some of the tables where we need to, but you have 3 rounds. So you get to go to 3 different tables, lots of topics. And I think I describe this as like heavy lifting, like, because people really come into this with, you know, some of your pain points and people that you want to talk to and really get some information out of. So there's a lot of sharing at these roundtables. I will say we used to do them on Wednesday night, and I had so many requests over the years. Can we please move the roundtables earlier in the week? Because you make connections at these roundtables as well. It's part of the networking.
Yeah, it's huge. I've met, like, I think every show, like I kind of meet as someone who would consider themselves an introvert, I tend to get adopted by extroverts during the roundtables. So I get to find like the people that I hang out with for the rest of the week. And honestly, the conversations that you end up having, like, you know, after things are over each day with those people, I mean, those are things that really stick with you. And so this was one of those that, like, if I had to like say like one, like, don't miss it, like, don't miss the roundtables, because you really will find something great from it. And like last year, like Erin was saying, I mean, it was packed. I was moderating a table and I stepped out to take a phone call for a second. And I almost didn't get back in. So, you know, like it got really, really busy, and deservedly so. Plus, I mean, if you need any other reason, I mean, there's also booze. So why would you not?
Now you're talking.
There you go.
We back in the day when it was still ARCSI, the first actual convention that ARCSI participated in, I believe it was 2005, and we started doing roundtables. And roundtables was like a thing every year, and it was very popular. And I remember one year, I don't remember when it was like, let's switch it up, let's do something different. And I can't even remember what the something different was, but roundtables wasn't on the agenda, and there was an uprising. Okay, we're not going to make that mistake again. So it truly is one of the more popular things that we do at convention, and rightfully so.
Hey, if you ask some show veterans, there was one year where we tried to combine every other group and do one gigantic roundtable event, and it just did not go well because everybody else was more just there for kind of happy hour, and it was the residential audience was like, no, we need our, Tom's right, we want our roundtables.
Well, and the community part of it, like the other groups really don't have the same kind of community that we typically have with residential. So that whole idea of like collaborating and learning from each other, it becomes a lot more about like, let me show you how successful I am and you're not. And that really starts to suck. So the residential, it's great because you will run into people who are just starting out. You'll run into people that have been doing it for 30 something years that are absolute veterans or legends in this industry. And everybody's talking on the same level. Like, where else can you get that? Because I can't think of very many places where there is that kind of level playing field.
Yep, it's a fantastic event, and I think it's like I said, I think it's heavy lifting, but people love it, and we will not take it away again.
Now, part of kind of keeping this whole thing straight, I don't know what is in your deck later on. Are we going to talk about the app that you can put on your phone where you can set your schedule?
Yes.
I've not seen the app, but I can talk about that. It's not in here because I didn't have the QR code for it, but I will definitely, as we close this, talk about like how to go and customize your show planner.
Well, if you're watching this, make a note about Monday afternoon, 4:30 to 6. Block that out, leave that available because you're going to want to do this. And then when you download the app on your phone, you can go ahead and schedule that. And it'll remind you and tell you where to go, and it'll make your life so much easier.
Absolutely.
I love the app, but I find that the majority of people don't use the app. So that's why we actually put an information desk up in a couple of places so that we can help people navigate, because we'll be at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center again this year, which is the second year that we have been there. Prior to that, we had always been at the Las Vegas Convention Center, but we found a nice home at Mandalay Bay Convention Center. It's really nice because then you can get in the hotels and you're connected to it. There's at least four hotels in walking distance that are connected to the convention center. And I think there's a couple more that are, right there as well. So it's nice to not have to get on not to get the train or to, have to, run Uber and all that all over the place.
What are the four hotels that are connected? Like you don't even have to go on the street. You can just go from.
You can get them. Obviously, the Mandalay Bay is right there. The Delano Suites is connected to it, as is Excalibur and the Luxor.
Okay, cool.
So you've got a lot of options right there. I know there's a train connected from Mandalay Bay, and it goes to a series of hotels, but I'm not sure which one that is.
But definitely still bring walking shoes because
it's huge.
It's huge. Like from the Luxor over to the convention center, it's like a 1.5 mile walk.
I'm
not exaggerating either.
But there's a really dope Irish pub in the middle, and they have amazing breakfast.
Who does?
So there's an Irish pub right in the middle, like halfway between Mandalay Bay and the Luxor, and they have great breakfast.
Oh, perfect. Good to know.
News you can use.
Yes.
Okay.
And as we've talked about, like networking is just such a big part of this. And we talked about like you can network anywhere and everywhere. But we've created like our residential morning networking. Beth, you want to talk about our morning networking once the show floor opens?
Yes. So this is definitely a great way to start your day. The energy is really high. You can get prizes, but it's where all of us from the residential community will meet at our booth, and the app will have the floor plan. There's also a floor plan online. Definitely make sure you have a copy of the floor plan, but the residential booth is in the residential pavilion and the booth is 2047. But each morning it'll start at 10. We'll have a half hour networking and then you can break out from there. but there is just a great group of people that usually get together and you kick off your day that way. And you can kind of compare notes as to what education sessions you're going to go into. We're usually partnered in the residential pavilion with a lot of vendors and companies and organizations related to residential. So you can meet and greet with a lot of those individuals since you're close. But it's definitely a great way to start. And if you can't make it during the 10 to 10:30 time frame to the booth, there is someone that's always going to be there and available. So definitely don't think, oh, well, I can't go anytime but 10 to 10:30. There's always someone there that can help you out or to network with or to talk with.
There for sure.
Marla,
we have
Marla is asking a question about the tram from the Luxor to Mandalay Bay. Does anybody know?
I'm not sure.
There is a tram, but I'm not sure exactly where it goes to. I'd have to look.
Okay, so that's a possibility to explore.
I did a quick Google, and it looks like it goes one way, but it doesn't necessarily stop from the Luxor to Mandalay Bay, but it might go from Mandalay Bay to the Luxor. It's a way to leave the Mandalay Bay, but not necessarily
it
get
leaves
to
Mandalay Bay, but I don't know where it goes to. I didn't think it went to Luxor, but I don't want to speak on that because I'm not 100% sure. Because I thought it went to MGM, but I don't want to swear to that.
Yeah,
either,
it's an MGM. It goes to MGM, but it makes a stop on the way to Luxor, but it doesn't pick up from Luxor on the way to Mandalay Bay. At least that's what I'm reading right now.
Okay.
So probably you'll have more up-to-date information on the ground.
If there was, I wish I would have known about it last year. I did a heck of a lot of walking.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul says the Luxor is right next door. It's a walk.
It is next door, but
it does look right next door. It is right next door, but it's a little bit of a walk.
It is no joke. At least, I think it's at least a half mile for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Going through inside, because nothing goes straight in any of the convention or in any of the casinos.
You'll get your steps in regardless of where you're staying. Just when you're on the trade show floor, it's so large. You walk a lot, but you aren't thinking about it because you're seeing stuff, you're talking to people, you're learning. It sneaks up on you. It's all cool.
For sure.
It makes you feel very small in a good way. It's a very surreal experience the first time walking into the trade show floor. I think the first time I got to go, I got to walk onto the trade show, not necessarily part of the anything else, and it was just like a holy cow, it feels like an amusement park for cleaning people.
It is. Lots of good stuff. And speaking of the trade show floor, we have several theaters on the show floor. One of them is called the Clean Meat Zone. And what the Clean Meat Zone is for, the Clean Meat Zone is broken down into 4 quadrants. And it's actually now 3. I've kind of changed the design of it a little bit. 1, you can get a professional headshot there. Then we have a section with a bar, which I know it's really weird to have a bar at the trade show, but so there is a bar there.
It's Vegas.
No, there's there are 40 bars on the trade show floor. 40.
40?
It's crazy. 40.
Wow.
And then, but the clean meat, the big half of the Clean Meat Zone is where we're going to have. It's for meetups for different audiences. But what I've done this year is I've created kind of like a discussion, a fireside chat, a discussion, even a debate for one group, and then a time for the groups to network. So with ours in the Clean Meat Zone is really fun. We're going to talk about training solutions. We have RJ Patel is going to be there to talk about if you were interested in commercial cleaning, how you would form that training. We're going to have Robin Murphy, who has I think it's called Flying Carrot, to talk about micro training.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have Sharon Tinberg is going to be there to talk about the house cleaning process or procedure training, but as you transition away from shadow training. And then we're going to have Debbie Sardona is going to be there to talk about train the trainer. So we've got a good 30 to 45 minute discussion Q&A with all of these people. And then we go into our professional image awards. We have our winners to recognize for the professional house cleaner of the year and for our office team member of the year. And then the Cleaning for a Reason team is going to be there, and they're going to recognize their high performers for, I'm guessing 2023. So we've got, the big award ceremony, and then we got lots of time for networking. So,
Wow.
we'll have some giveaways there as well.
That's exciting. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
And this, at the time that we're doing this, is when there's happy hours on the show floor. So like I said, there's a cash bar there, but there are like 40 bars. You could probably find all kind of places to get a drink at that given time.
Are the bars open all day? Like all 40
Some of them are, some of them are for happy hour. It just depends.
Oh, every hour is happy hour at
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. All right.
So, okay. Beth, do you want to talk about this one? Because we do have, there's even more networking available.
Yeah. So Cleaning, Crime, and Cocktails. This is really, really cool because the individuals that are hosting it, they got the idea because the other like building service contractors and the vendors, they'll host like an event, and there wasn't anything that was residential, ISSA, or residential cleaning companies. So this is really cool. It's going to be at the the Mob Museum, and it's a speakeasy. So everyone's gonna come in costume. There are still some tickets left, but I don't know how many because I'm not involved in the coordination of the event. But it's just another opportunity to network and have fun and be within the residential community, and have fun and just hang out with everybody.
I just went to the website. There are 36 tickets left. So if you're interested in going, you might want to buy a ticket.
Yeah, and it's really affordable. Like some of the tickets are a little bit pricey, and this is really affordable. So it should be fun.
I've heard a lot of people are excited, like getting their costumes ready. So really excited to, go out and dress up and.
Love it.
Okay. All right. As I said, we have some education on the schedule. I don't know, Jonathan, do you want to kind of highlight a few, like some of our new faces? And
heck yeah. So education is one of my favorite parts. And honestly, one of the things that, at least to me, is kind of a draw every year of I want to learn something new. I don't like to be somebody that's very stagnant, and I'm a bit of a nerd. So this kind of thing really, really gets me. Looking at the list, I mean, of course, there's some favorites that we've, I think at least 3 or 4 of us on this video here are doing presentations. I see we actually just had a coffee conversation the other day with Victoria Yassam. Is that right? I think it's Yassam.
Yes.
I think she said it right.
Yes.
Which even her coffee conversation talk, which was a kind of a snippet of what she's doing, was great. So I'm personally looking forward to that one. I see a couple of names that I don't recognize. Let's see, Natasha McGrath. I don't recognize that name. Or Trent Lowenstein. I'm sure some of you guys do, but I'm also like terrible with names. So, but I would say don't. Steven Simple was one that I know a lot of people were really excited to see as well. So, like Erin and folks were saying earlier, make sure you check out the app. These are just some of the ones I think that are residential track, but you can also go into some of the other tracks and find things that are very interesting as well. I'm talking as well. If you happen to be bored and want to come out to the, what is it? The ESG, is that right?
It's the ESG and Sustainability Theater.
Okay. And I think there's probably a liquor cart nearby because you might need it, but yeah, so you're going to find all kinds of great ideas. And you're going to learn a lot of great things that you're going to take back with you. I come back every year with just, the first year I did it on paper, and then I decided I would never do it on paper again. And so I take notes on my phone with pictures and everything, and I come back with probably 100 pages of notes when I leave, and spend a lot of the flight really just kind of reading over stuff when I come back. So there's a lot of great stuff to be found. You know, and you can find things for, even if it's not necessarily for a pain point that you're dealing with, you can find things that you can pick up things for. I also have found personally, and maybe this is just me, but I think that this might resonate with some other people too. If you find one of the topics that really makes you upset, like makes you angry when you read it, or just like you can't handle it, you probably should be in that class. There's probably a good reason it makes you angry. So, you know, it's been one of those things where I've found my thinking challenged a lot. And I've come away like looking at things very differently, from these sessions, and they get better and better every year.
So Jonathan, is there a topic up here that's making you angry right now? Is there anything that you want to talk about?
You know, I am, I'm looking at some of these right now just to see, like there's some of these that I'm looking at that I know that I am not necessarily good at. So like one of the things I'm looking at here that really speaks to me is looking at Liz Trotter and Candace Rodriguez session, the 10 things your managers don't know that are crippling your business. Because a lot of times as we get going in this thing, we start to develop blind spots, and it's really cool to be able to bring them back to light so that you can do something about it and make things better. I know that's something that I'm personally looking forward to. I'm looking at this other one from Libby DeLucian, Power of Playbooks. I'm terrible about sometimes, like I'm a big ideas person, but sometimes I have a really hard time putting things to paper and making them actionable for other people. And so looking at that looks like something that would call to me. It's because it's one of those things that I was like, I hate doing that, but I know I should. So, I mean,
growth happens when you're uncomfortable.
Exactly. That's kind of how I look at it. Like if you are comfortable, you are not growing. And I do not want to be somebody who gets comfortable and gets stuck sitting there and not changing. I hope that I can do that for a lifetime. And so you definitely should do, you know, like take a look at some of these, because I can guarantee there's a couple of these that you're not doing. And
what would be like your one tip to somebody who's coming in for the first time to get the most out of this much education, like to come home and actually be able to do something with it?
So a couple things that I've done in the past that I think, so first of all, if you're coming and you've got more than one person coming from your company, send people to different classes. Don't all go to the same one, because you're probably, like, if you all do that, you're missing out on so many opportunities to catch other ideas. I would say when you get done with all of them, I mean, there's going to be this part of you that really wants to just come home and change the world and make everybody mad, because you're trying to push things in a direction. Honestly, what I would say is afterward, take a little bit of time to just sit on the information that you take. Like, don't do anything. Breathe, and then come back to it and start to go through your notes, go through the things that you picked up, and kind of see then where you can start to maybe pick 1 or 2 or 3 things. And I would say one thing you can do is pick something that's small, you know, something that's easy. Like you're going to pick up some things that are very easy to implement. Do those first to give yourself some momentum to take on the next bigger thing. And then after you've implemented those things, then you can start to tackle the really big ones. Because a lot of us are really tempted to take the biggest thing. Like we come back and there's this huge idea. We're like, I got to do that. And then, you know, 6 months later, we haven't done it. Yeah. We haven't done anything with it, and we're not going to. But
that's really good advice. Everybody in your office will appreciate it if you approach it in that way. Yeah. If not, next year when you go to convention, everybody's going to dread when you come back because they know that you're going to turn everything
upside down. Like I remember there was one a couple years ago. Maybe it was last year. I think it was 2 years ago. But it was one that was talking about meetings for people who hate meetings, and that's me. I hate meetings. Like, make it an email, please. But they had a way of. I think it was actually Liz that was talking about it, and she had this very firm system for like keeping a meeting like timed, and you know it was like you could do it in 90 minutes or less. I was like, okay, I can handle that. And I started implementing that. And it was a small change, like, but we used to have this one meeting in our own company that would take like 4.5 hours. And I do not have the attention span to sit for 4.5 hours and listen to anybody. And so, you know, and so that's one of those things where like implementing that was such a positive change that it dramatically changed the direction of how we did meetings. And it wasn't hard to implement. It took very little legwork, but it made a big difference. And it made it easier for me to be able to do those in a way that was meaningful. So yeah, it's tempting to come in and say, I'm going to rip everything down to the studs and start over, but you probably don't have to.
Yeah, I don't think your office would be happy with that either. But
No.
one of the things, a couple of things that you touched on, Jonathan, I want to reiterate. Like, this is just a snippet of like some residential education. We have on Monday, which is our education day, we have 8 tracks going. We have a Spanish speaking track again this year, but we've got 7 other sessions going at the same time as well. And they cross over all different areas and topics. Everything on that day is kind of broken down by topic. For example, and you can go to any of them. If you have the All Access Pass, which I guarantee you're going to want if you go to the show, you get to go to any of the education on Monday. And I even threw Debbie Sardone's session in here. She's actually speaking in the distributor track on Monday, but since she's residential, I kind of threw her in here because I'm sure you could probably get something out of it. So, regardless of where you're at in the cleaning industry, you can go to any of the education sessions that we have going on Monday. As well as, the education in the classroom that we have on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. We don't have as much on Tuesday and Wednesday because we have the show floor open and we want to make sure that you have a lot of time to get to the show floor. And I do like to grab every morning. We have the Business Solutions Theater on the show floor, which if you've been there in the past, it was called Solve for X. But I always grab the 10:30 session so that after you follow our morning networking and giveaways, we can go head to the Business Solutions Theater. And I have Holly Moore and Summer Abram are going to be there on Tuesday morning. And we have Ajia Holiday is going to be there on Wednesday morning. And then I have Liz closing it out with a really impactful session. Like Jonathan said, she brings a lot of energy on Thursday. So I always grab that session.
That's a good time slot. Mark has a question about the recording of the sessions. Do we record these sessions and are they available after the conference?
We do not. It is an in-person. So this is where FOMO comes in. If you're missing out, if you're not there, it's gone. So we do not record them right now. We've talked about doing some different hybrid things, but right now it is an in-person event only. And I do get complaints from people that there's too much going on at one time. Can I be in more than one place? And that's where, like Jonathan said, if you bring other staff people, divide and conquer. But I did want to touch on one thing you said, Jonathan, that stuck out as well is, growth can come from when you're uncomfortable. And I don't know, Tom, can you explain? Because I think some people may not know what the Disruptive Innovation Summit was. And that is one of our sessions that we have on Tuesday when we have our residential track. We open with on Tuesday afternoon, and you and Derek were there at the first one. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, we actually, Derek and I orchestrated that. We pulled that together, and it was the convention. We were in Orlando that year, and it was a full day event. It was well over 100 people attended, and this was like the day before the formal conference started. And the whole premise of the day-long event was that technology was changing how the residential industry was going to be doing business. And we had somebody from the private equity world. We had Marcos Zappacosta, who's the CEO of Thumbtack, was a speaker. 10 years later, he's still the CEO of Thumbtack. And we talked about several things. We talked about what we called the virtual maid service, which was, at the time, it was Handy Book, who is now Handy, which is now owned by Angie, which is getting ready to be spun off again. We talked about a couple of other tech firms and how they were trying to reshape how the industry worked. And we made some predictions, and some of them turned out, better than others. But we're going to recap all of that, and we're going to demonstrate how technology has changed the business a ton over the last 10 years. And then we're going to talk about how we see that evolving and what it's going to look like over the next 10 years. And we're going to do this in an hour. We're not going to turn this into a day event the way we did it 10 years ago, but we thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of reflect, where we've been, where we are, and where we think we're going.
See, if you're not there, you're not going to know.
That's right.
And it's such a cool time to talk about it again, just with AI coming up. And
Right.
I think we've seen such a massive change in technology in the last year and a half of just getting so much of that in our hands, of just like the average Joe consumer being able to have all of that kinds of technology in our hands. And that's all very, very new. So I think it's such a cool time to have this conversation.
Mhm.
I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah.
That is, I think it'll be a good one. I'm like, I love all the education that we have. I think the committee put together a great program, but I think there's a lot. I think I've never talked to anybody that came and did not find something, truly valuable in the education program. Like, there's just so much there. We have over 100 speakers this year, a number of panels. So we've got a lot on there. And so there's something for everybody.
Speaking as somebody who comes as a vendor or a speaker for the last 2 years, I have notes in my notebook, pages and pages deep, of things that I learned, not even as a business operator, of just somebody who enjoys the industry and wants to help people in their businesses. I've got my little book here with all of my notes. I also have Jonathan's sticker on there, cleaning business punk. Yep, got that. Keep it simple, stupid. I got that. I got those stickers on my booklet, and I have pages and pages from convention last year, and I still keep this on my desk just in case I need to go back and look at things that we talked about. It never gets old. I keep it all very, very present. So there's something for everybody. All different stickers. Yeah, stickers from Jonathan.
I like them. I like it.
He gave me stickers and I put them on everything.
I should have some more. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a new notebook. I'm almost full of this one.
I don't think I have any sitting here at the desk, or I would show.
I'll tell a story on Paul. That's an inside joke. He visited our office here in Charleston. I don't know. It was well over a half a dozen years ago. Paul's a big sticker guy, right?
Oh yeah, here you go. Hang on.
Every picture, anything that was hanging anywhere, he put his sticker on the back of it. I'm still finding made in Hoboken stickers around the office.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's funny.
It's the musician in me. You have to have merch, man.
Gotta have merch.
Jonathan's on the stage, flipping them out like they're picks.
Yep.
I thought about doing those sometime. Just because
we find them all over the booth. Jonathan leaves them everywhere.
Yeah.
I thought they were fun.
All right.
That was kind of the idea. They're fun.
Do we have anything more in our deck, Erin?
I have one more, and it's just a little one, but I wanted to touch on the show floor. That was where, excuse me, I think we're going to have about 14,000 attendees this year. We have over 600 exhibitors, and we do have our residential pavilion. And so we've got some great vendors that are in the residential pavilion that are for our residential audience. I know Stephen Semple, who is going to be speaking on Tuesday. He's got a booth there. Liz Trotter is going to be there. Her core profit builders. Maid Central is there. Perfect Clean, Moody Insurance. And there's probably more. And I'll talk in a second about where you can find out all of this good information. But I do like to highlight that we have a lot of education on the show floor. And we've talked about that a little bit, but I don't want you to miss, we have some education in the classroom, but I try to be very particular when we put the residential schedule together. So we do our education on the show floor early in the day. Then we have education in the classroom in the afternoon. And then Wednesday, we're going to wind it up back on the show floor again. So as we've said, wear comfortable shoes, wear comfortable shoes, wear comfortable shoes. You will get your steps in, but it is well worth it because there's just so much good information.
And water. You're in the desert.
Yes. If you see somebody handing out water, grab it. I think we were just going to offer a few tips on how you could maximize your trip. So really, we could turn the slide deck off and just chat.
Yeah, I'll share a couple of things off of the website that might be useful.
Okay.
If you want to get more details about what's going on, I guess there's several ways to get there. I go to residential.issa.com. Over here, education and events, you can click on ISSA Show North America. It will bring you to this page. And
You might
now
want to
they've
zoom
got,
in a little.
I'm sorry?
You might want to zoom in a little.
Not too small. Okay.
You got your big screen going. There you go.
How about that? Now,
Perfect.
here, there's all kinds of stuff. If you haven't registered yet, if you're listening to this and saying, wow, this does sound pretty cool, and I feel like I'm going to be missing out, I want to go, I can still register now, right, Erin?
Yes, you can register up until Saturday, I believe it is, and then you have to register on site. So the price will change. It'll go up on site. So if you want to register now, I highly encourage you to do so before you you can always register on site. I won't say that you can, but it's a little bit of a lower rate if you register now.
You do that right here, and you drill in here a little bit, and one of the screens you can get to is talking about all of the education, and you can filter by date, you can filter by track. So if you're particularly interested in residential, you can click on residential and see all of the education events specifically for that. If you want to take a look at all
your best bet is to go by audience and click residential. Don't go by track and click residential. I would go by audience and click residential, and then that'll give you everything that we have on Monday as well as the rest of the week, because we do have Monday is everybody and education for everything. We do have some residential tracks set up for Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon, but I don't want you to miss what's on Monday.
So how do I get back? I got 50 of 161. What am I doing wrong here? Let's see all results. Bang. Oh,
that's everybody.
Wow. This is like Disney World. This is Disney World for
it is, and Tom is right. If you're registered for the show, you'll get an email from us on how to download the app. And the app is going to be your best friend at the show, because it not only does it have all the education, it has maps for where everything is, and then you can customize your own show. It's called mapping your show. You can customize and pick which sessions that you want to go to, and then that way you have your schedule set and you don't miss anything.
And it'll also notify you, like if you are in one class and the next class is getting ready to start, at least the prior years, I'm sure that they probably kept it built into the app. I don't know why they would take it out, but it'll notify you to say, hey, you're signed up for this. It's getting ready to start, or it starts in, 15 minutes or whatever.
I know some people have already gotten the emails and have already started and downloaded the app and started to update it. You don't have to do it now. You can definitely do it on site, because we have signs in the hallways with QR codes, so you can download the app once you get there. And like I said, I encourage you to do so, because the app is going to be your best friend, so that you can mark the exhibitors that you want to visit. You can mark the sessions that you want to attend. You can mark the networking events that you want to go to. Like, there's a lot going on. There is something at the show between everything ISSA has planned and then everything the different sponsors have planned. There is something pretty much, maybe not 24 hours a day, but 18.
And if you go into your ISSA Show account, like say you do it on your desktop and you earmark the classes that you want, when you download the app, it'll pick it up because you're logged into your account.
It's tracked by your badge number. You'll have to put your badge number in, and then it finds who you are.
Cool.
This is small because I want you to see the whole thing. This is the trade show floor, and you can zoom in, and there's 600 and some odd vendors here. Erin just, shared with us. Any product that you're currently using in your cleaning business, you're going to find that vendor here, along with a lot of vendors that you aren't using, and some of them you should be. And you're going to learn about technology. There's going to be people with like robots. There's going to be
so many robots.
Yeah, I mean, it is, even if you're not using it, it's just fun because you're learning stuff.
Even drones.
Somebody that went last year and
drones. They're really cool.
What is?
The window washing drones. Sorry, I have from Baltimore. Washing.
So, this is the residential pavilion here. Right
That
here.
entire purple slot, yes.
This is where we're going to be meeting every morning at 10 o'clock, starting on Tuesday.
10. The show floor opens at 10, so we won't do our giveaways until about 20-25 after, so we get people time to get there. I know a lot of people want to stop and get coffee on the way, so then they'll they come in for the morning networking. But so we'll do the giveaways at like 20-25 after. But I highly if you have your all access pass, go to the education day on Monday, go to the residential roundtables, but then start your morning out on Tuesday with us, because at 10 a.m. we'll have our morning networking. We'll do lots of giveaways, and then you can, chat with everybody on, what's on the show floor. What do you want to go to? I try not to make things overlap too much for residential or for any group really, but I also try and make sure there's something for anybody. If you want to be on the show floor, that there's education that goes, throughout the day, and then there's education in the classroom. So there is a lot going on. And as Tom said, I download that app. That app is your best friend.
You'll be glad you did. So we've got a couple minutes left. What do we need to close with?
If you haven't registered, I can only ask why not. It is just such a great event.
What's wrong with you?
Go to ISSAShow.com and get registered now.
One other thing, I know we've mentioned it in other places, but there's so many giveaways and so much swag, everything. If you can bring extra bag, suitcase, a little bit extra room so you can bring things home.
Here is kind of a bonus tip. Thursday, everything closes down 2 o'clock. The trade show's closed. Starting at about noon, there's a lot of vendors there with a lot of cleaning supplies that they don't want to take home with them. You could fill suitcases up with brushes and magic erasers and microfiber towels and
microfiber cloths. I've had, and I know people that go and they don't. I don't think you're getting a vacuum home in your bag, but people that go and buy vacuums that they're selling off from the show floor at discounted prices. So,
I mean, get in the early boarding on a Southwest flight. You might be able to get it in the overhead bin. I'm being forced to travel with my rig this time for playing. So, if I can bring a bass and a pedal board, you can bring a vacuum. You can probably carry it on. To be honest, taking them home. You can probably carry it on. No joke.
Oh. Well, we are at the top of the hour. So hopefully, everybody's got a pretty good idea as to what we're going to be doing next week, and some tips that's going to help us be more productive and get maximum value out of that. If you haven't registered, it's not too late. Come on, come visit us, see us. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be epic.
Erin, Beth, Jonathan, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for your help. You all are awesome. We're all going to see each other next week.
I'm legitimately excited about seeing everyone that's on here, and some of the ones I've seen in the comments too. They're people that I legitimately enjoy seeing.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm excited for the reunion, guys.
Yeah.
It's a family reunion. We'll see you there.
So Smart Business Moves will be a best of next week, but we'll probably sneak in a live stream or two next week as well, just to kind of keep you all on your toes. So take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.